Hello everyone, and welcome to my Let's Play series of Farming Simulator 19. This is going to be my first episode in the series. I'm going to get going in a game and see how things go. This will be the first real go that I'm having at Farming Simulator 19, so come on along for the ride and let's see what this game has to offer. So this game, I'm going to do a new farmer game just to get ourselves acquainted, get right involved in the game. We'll start on the easiest mode. If you want to catch me doing a start from scratch mode, you can catch me on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/rubyjuice. I'll put a link in the description as well. But for now, we're going to do a new farmer on Ravenport. And like I said, my streams will be a start from scratch, and that one will be on Felsbrunn. So we'll go with my regular sort of character build for now with the Vaderstad hat, sort of a regular looking guy, and we'll get right into the game. Now for the purposes of this Let's Play, I'm not going to go through the tutorial. If you'd like to see the tutorial, I did do a video going through that and giving a first look at the gameplay in Farming Simulator 19, so be sure to check that out as well. So for now, we won't do that. And we'll go and check out everything we've got. So we've got our farmhouse way over there in the distance. We've got our sheds, our barn, as well as our tractors here. So first things first, let's double check. This is 100% fertilized. I really like that field info box in the corner there where you get all the information about your field. Wheat, 100% fertilized, no weeds. One thing I do need to do before we get too far here is turn off the automatic engine start. Fuel usage will turn on to default. We need to turn all of these off. I'd like to choose when my helpers do things. Plant growth we'll put back to normal though. Withering will keep off, destruction on, plowing off. I like to keep the periodic plowing off just because I find that way you have the option to do a no-till setup, which is still true to life, so I do keep that setting off. Lime required will keep on, weeds on, and the autosave interval is fine. So we'll attach the header. Just hire a worker for now on that one. Now, if you do get a little bit confused by the control scheme in the top left there, it looks like, I have multiple buttons doing the same thing. I'm using the Logitech G29 steering wheel, so I have a number of buttons mapped, and I use a modifier on the wheel, so I press the L2 button plus other buttons, but it looks like in the help menu there that I have, for instance, circle hiring my worker and turning on the sower, whereas pressing circle by itself hires the worker, pressing L2 and circle turns on the sower, and so on and so on. So I'm going to take this right to the shop and I'm going to sell it off. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is unload. I'd like to keep the seeds that are in it, so we'll unload these on the farm. So we'll drop the seeds right there. And that way we can come and fill up our seeder when we buy a new one. So I want to go ahead and buy a bit of a larger seeder, as well as one that can do direct seeding without cultivation, preferably, although we do have the other case running the cultivator currently on that field. So we'll see what the shop has to offer. and what my money situation looks like. We could take out a bit of a loan to start, just get ourselves going. The game is looking quite nice though. Really enjoying the models. I'm playing on the second highest graphics profile, the high as opposed to very high. You can find my PC specs in my tutorial first look gameplay video in the description there. But the game is running at a smooth 60 frames per second on the high profile, so that's quite nice because I don't have the beefiest of computers by any means. And inside the cab looks very nice as well. The working dash, all of those things. Pop out of first person view here. Pop out. We will sell that. Drive up here a little bit. All right, so here we are in the shop. So we can take a look at everything we've got. For now, let's head to the tools section and we'll take a look at the seeders. Now I did point this out in my tutorial walkthrough video as well. The shop is now divided up a little bit differently than it used to be. So whereas, in the past we had sort of universal headings, so for things like combine headers, for instance, there used to be, one section in the shop for that, whereas now we've got corn headers, we've got sort of regular cereal headers divided into two separate categories. And same thing when you look at something like, so we have planters now, which are the ones that do corn, sunflowers, soybeans, sugar beets, and potatoes. And we also have seeders, which are the ones that do wheat, barley, oats, canola, soybeans, oilseed radish, and grass. So I'm going to look through the seeders here and find one that can do some direct drilling at least. This Agromash looks like a pretty good starting option with the direct drill. It's 3 meters wide, so it's just as wide as the one that we just sold, but it holds 5,000. It fertilizes and seeds, as well as can direct seed. But we'll take a look here. The Stara is a little bit wider. This Kuhn is a nice option, 4 meters wide, doesn't require a lot of horsepower, but it can't direct seed. The Rapid A600S, that one I used to death in Farm Sim 17, so I'm going to try to avoid using it to start out with in 19. The same thing goes for the Pronto 9. I don't even have a tractor right now that can run these ones. We're getting up into the relatively high horsepower with 270 for the Pronto 9. 420 for this Stara. So these ones are getting into the higher end here. So we'll go back. We'll buy this Agromas for now. 5,000 liter capacity. So probably, I'm going to guess, about 3,000 of seed and 2,000 of fertilizer. And one thing we also need to do is buy ourselves some seed. So we'll probably need 2 more of these, as well as a couple of bags of fertilizer. So let's go pick it up. All right, we'll fill it up with some seed. Gonna have to move it over a little bit. One thing I really enjoy here is that you can hear the tractor revving up when it's filling up with seed and fertilizer. Whoops, wrong button there. right. Now we're all set. We've got our last big bag of seed back at the farm. So we'll head on back. Preferably on the right side of the road. I think the other thing I'd like to do is probably sell that Fiat right off the bat. It's a nice little tractor, but you know, I think it's just a little too slow. And if we could sell it and take out a loan, we can probably get something a little bit larger. So since we bought this, I should have thought ahead further and not hired my worker for that other field, but that's all right. Looks like combine's getting along nicely. We've passed our other seeds, which are right over here. The cover's still open automatically when you pull up to something that you can fill up with, but you can still manually open them up as well, just like that. I think what we'll do is we'll unhire that worker. We'll just pull this tractor over here. Helper almost has a full grain tank, but I'm sure that he'll be able to finish that field. So we'll shut that tractor down for now. Yep. I see no issues with that. Alright, and not sure what to plant to start out with. Let's go with some soybeans. And again, you can hear the tractor revving up when I turn the seeder on, even though, you know, our ground speed isn't increasing, which I find really nice. So we're on our way. Bit of a tough pull with the agromash with the case, but I think it can get the job done. Going downhill. Certainly speedy. You know what? We might be well off just going between these. Oh, now I've gotten off my line because I didn't let the helper finish cultivating. So why don't we hire a worker actually for this seeding job, and we'll you know, I think what I'll do is I will keep the Fiat for now, and we'll let it get some of the jobs done around the farm here. It's ready to go empty out the combine. We'll just pull up there, hop over into the combine, and get the pipe out. We might just be in position. Perfect. It seems that Helper has forgotten the headland here. I guess we'll have to make sure that we do those ourselves in the future. I guess there's not enough room to turn around there with the hill, perhaps. I also think one of my first orders of business is going to be to join these two fields together. For now, let's get this over and into our silo, shall we? Love how the exhaust looks coming out of the pipe there. It's a cool little cloud. And just as in Farming Simulator 17, looks like you can change the way that these trailers unload. So you can choose, tipping from the back or through the grain door, from the side, left, right, grain door, and back. So, and I assume that that's the case with others as well. Let's shut down the Fiat. Let's go park the combine for now, since we don't have any crops available to harvest. Drop the header. Okay, so the seeder's hard at work. I think what we need to do now is we need to take a look in the shop at our options for fertilization. So we can get the Kuhn 3200 liter, 24 meter spreading width. Wow, 24 meters on that little one. It's impressive. These are both only 12. And the Kuhn is 24. 3200 liters. This one's 14,000 though. Well, I guess we don't need to spend that much money, and if it's going to be a 24 meter width, I dare say it's worth the investment. It's also just 3-point hitch mounted, which means we don't need to worry about crop destruction with it either. So I think that's a good one to buy. And then we're going to have to buy some fertilizer as well. One thing I think I will do, for now, we're going to turn off that help window. Let's park the cultivator in the shed for now. Not sure when we'll need it again, if we'll need it again, but can't hurt to keep it around for a little while. And off to the shop we go. Once again, popping into the cab. You can see that there's functioning mirrors there in the top right corner. So we can see behind us. You can see that one there as well. As well, obviously, the speedometer and the tachometer for engine speed both functioning as well. And Giants has said that the cabs each light up in different ways. So, this is an older tractor. Maybe it has a little bit less illumination in the dashboard. We'll have to check that out when we get to the nighttime. And some of the newer ones, obviously, with the extra screens and other information on their dashboards and other areas of the cab, then they've got a little more light. That Kuhn spreader is a lot bigger than I remember. And I think I do want to get outside here and take a look. You'll see the PTO there, the yellow piece, will attach as well. And I believe that when we turn on the spreader, that it should, the PTO should turn as well. Coon was a good choice. I think it matches the case rather nicely. Now, one thing I'm curious to know. So it does also reflect. You hear the engine rev up. It also reflects on the tack there. Revs up to 1800 to fill, and then back down again. That's pretty neat. There goes the train. Another new thing, the trains will be driving around the map, even without our help. I find that pretty neat as well. Just adds a little bit more immersion. You know, makes it feel a little bit more like a living world. Obviously, it would probably hurt performance to try and put in too many things, but to have the train running around, I think that's a pretty neat little feature. I have a feeling we may be doing this drive a fair bit between the shop and the farm. Luckily, it's fairly close. Now, I haven't even checked actually what. So there's no option in here for Fertiliser States. So in 17, you may recall, they added that there were 3 fertilizer states instead of just 1. So I wonder, fertilize, so there's 2 states, looks like. We now have 2 states, as well as needs plowing and needs lime. So currently, 25 is almost fertilized for the first stage, 26 a little bit, just from the seeder there. So we'll have to spread fertilizer on those again once they've grown one growth stage. And then 24, we can probably go ahead and fertilize it. Then when we seed it, it'll reach the second stage. So let's start with 24 here. I'm not sure how wide this spreading width is, so it's fairly wide, that's for sure. Be able to do all of these fields in 2 passes. Oh, bit of a bump there at the end. Looks like our seeder worker has finished the job there. So we'll pull this just into position over here. Leave the engine running for now. Start the engine on this one. Think we've still got a little bit of work to do on the ends here. Yes. Go. Seeder on. Lowered. We'll finish off the headlands here and then move our worker along to the next field over. Not the world's widest seeder, but will do for a beginner. Just being able to save that step of cultivating, I find, is very helpful. No lack of speed going this way, though, that's for sure. We've missed the tiniest of pieces. Or is that just a tire track? On the right there, That's a piece that has been missed. Almost seems as though we'll need a more powerful tractor just for this seeder. We'll let the hired worker take over on that one as well. Now, the question is, are we able to fertilize now, or do we need to wait for a growth stage? I believe we'll need to wait for a growth stage to happen, but we can test it. Doesn't appear to be getting any darker, so it does look like there's a couple other missed pieces in there as well, though. I suppose what I should have done is fertilized that field 26 as well. Let's park this case, though. Whoops. Using the wrong pedal, of course. We'll shut it down. Now we can unhire the worker. You know what? Let's take this down to the end here and we can finish these little pieces that were missed. Just one small piece here now. Finished with that. Okay, so I think what I'll do actually is hire a worker for this. Fiat. I think we're going to say goodbye to the Fiat. We'll leave our tipper there on the unloading bay. And we'll start the long trek to the shop in the Fiat. It's a nice little tractor, I must admit, but I do think that right off the bat here, we're going to need something with some more power. Now those cases are they're 180 horsepower, but we're going to need something a little bit beefier. I also want to take a look at the weeders to make sure that I've got the right equipment for when I get my weeds coming in. So maybe what we'll do is buy a sprayer. Perhaps I should have thought of that before I bought the fertilizer spreader. Sprayer can do both, but I think I'll buy the sprayer so that I can be sure that I'll be able to deal with mature weeds if by some chance they get long enough. And then I can always sell the fertilizer spreader later on down the road if I think that I'd rather just use a sprayer for that. I really do like the inside of the cab here with the Fiat as well. Now it's almost all glass. You can see all around. You can see the exhaust coming a little bit closer up there too. Now, there's just so many little touches. The mirrors, exhaust, the seat. You can see the seat bouncing up and down a little bit there. Now the seats have suspension in them, just as they would in real life. This tractor, I think, is a little too slow, a little underpowered. Some of you might think it's a little early for me to be upgrading the tractors, but I really think that it'll help us in the long run if we can set ourselves up with, you know, a fairly powerful tractor. Look at that, you can see the fan spinning. Wow. That's pretty neat. So we'll get almost $53,000 for it. Curious if you can customize it. Wow, you can get twin wheels, narrow tires, wide tires. But for now, we'll sell. Before we take out any loan, we'll figure out what tractor we want to buy. So in the small tractors, you know, they get up to 145 horsepower. I think we're going to need a medium tractor here. So we have a 6M, it starts at 142 horsepower. We have the 6R, it's 280. Is that where it starts? Yeah, so it can go up to 300 with the 6250R. So I think the 6R is going to be a good choice for us. Oh, that's front weights. Oh, look at that. That's neat. Engine setup. So this can go up to 164 horsepower. It's nice, but I think we have to go with the 6R. These are all great tractors, all good options. The fast track, speedy towing. We could get the Puma, which can also have a front loader on it, but I think, you know, John Deere is here. We have to go for it. We'll have to get the 6R, and I think it'd be prudent to put a front loader attacher on it as well. We can do some baling maybe. So we are going to need 238,000 or so. We could put twins on it. I don't think we need that. I think we'd be well off to put wheel weights on it. So it's going to be 240,000 or so. So let's head to our bank here. We start with no loan since we're on the easiest mode. Take out a little extra just for some operating cash. Go with the 6250, a front loader attacher, and the wheel weights. For a total of $240,700. And I also was going to buy a weeder, but first let's go check out this John Deere. See the hydraulic hose ports there at the front. The grill transparent, you can see as we get close. The headlights are reflecting nicely. Wow, just beautiful. Great job on the design. I'm super impressed. This is really nice. So we've got the wheel weights on the Trelleborg tires there. It's fantastic. I know a lot of people have speculated about the DEF, the blue caps, and the amount is shown in the store. I think that that's just for an added touch of realism. So far, it doesn't appear as though you're going to have to fill it up, but maybe that will be more clear. Oh, and you can see here, so let's shut it down again and let's get inside the cab and take a look. Again, just beautifully modeled interior. Looking really good. You can really tell the new material system they've got with the seat texture. Look at the cloth. There's even a buddy seat in here. Again, the mirror is working. So now if you take a look, when we fire up the tractor, then you do get the screen lighting up there. And you see the kilometers per hour in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Oh, before we get too far, I did say I was going to buy myself a sprayer, didn't I? That one's 36 meters. Wow. That one's also 36 meters. 6,000 liters. $115,000. See, I don't think we need something quite that serious just yet. With the Coon, so this could hold 2,800 with those two combined. That's 2,200. Slightly wider. Okay. You know what? Why not? Let's get the Hardy. Hardy's a new brand. Again. But first, once again, we're going to need some extra money. Here. While I'm here, we can check out the economy. So we see the barn. Looks like the barn only accepts the grass and straw, hay and straw and silage. Eggs. So eggs, I'm curious. So they come in pallets, I believe. So I don't know how long it takes to fill a pallet, but we'll have 4 different sell points for eggs, 4 different sell points for milk as well. The ranch currently much higher than anything else. It's great to see this. 4 different sell points for most of the things. Sawmill, spinnery for the wool. Okay, so crop protection. We'll buy the Hardy sprayer. We're also going to need some pallets of herbicide. Just 2,000 for now, I think. We'll fill it up. We'll see how far 2,000 gets us. Yeah, 2,000 is just about all we'll need, it looks like. Perfect. That's a pretty big looking sprayer. It is the Mega 2200 after all. And we don't have a front weight on the John Deere, so we should maybe perhaps do that as well. Pickup 900. I think the pickup 900 should be just fine. Nicely matches, obviously. Looks great with the John Deere. So if you're looking for a hyper-realistic Let's Play, I may not be, on the extreme end of realism, but I do try and stick to things that are generally the normal practices in agriculture. I do work in an agricultural field, not a literal field, but my work is in agriculture, and I grew up on a dairy farm, so I have a pretty good understanding of how things work around farms, and I try to keep it fairly close to that, keeping in mind that it is a game, and occasionally I'll take corners too fast, or I'll drive across a field that I shouldn't, or cut corners. But overall, I think that I'm hoping to keep things relatively realistic, avoiding crop destruction, avoiding a lot of those sort of basic things that kind of break the immersion of farming. And with that, I'm going to end the Let's Play there. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will certainly be back with more. Next episode, we'll take a look at buying some land, perhaps, and getting some more crops in the ground, doing some more harvesting, and maybe we'll do a little bit more exploration of the shop. So take care, and I'll see you next time.